And even then, maybe not. I'm trying to be a little bit more responsible with sleep. But we got a fun match. It's Division 5. We got Legend, Beast, or Dream X Legend X versus Tusky Reaver, the honorary Frenchman, the Belgian player who was in Team France for a game just to knock out NASA. But let's get underway. Tusky, fantastic. Starting with Hyper Random, great first pick. And Legend picks Fez. So far, shaping up to be a fantastic draft. I love both of these maps. Banning Lagoon, fair enough. Banning Golden Swamp, I don't like Golden Swamp. Lagoon is kind of more interesting, even though it feels very much like too much water. I mean, I'm indifferent on the water maps. I'm not the biggest fan of water. Savannah, if we only have Savannah and no Sertao, I'll be okay with this. Golden Lakes, I dislike, so Tusky gets a B on the draft so far, and Legend also gets a B. I like Fez, like Hyper Random, Savannah, and Golden Lakes, I'm not a fan of. I really wish I had pushed harder during the admin map decisions to try to cut down on the gold in the middle so the pawns are more important, but really it's Golden Pit with easier eco for the pawns. So I'm not a fan of Golden Lakes because it's too much like Golden Pit. I wish it was less gold in the middle and it'd be more important, like more gold in the corners. Um, and then Savannah, as long as we don't get a Sertao ending, like I'll be fine. See the bans. Watershed, understandable. People don't like Watershed. And Accurate. Accurate ban is a little bit rough. So yeah, both of them B draft. The Accurate ban, gonna dock Tusky a few points. Watershed and Golden Swamp, I'm fine with. Watershed is interesting, but it's I haven't seen very many good games on Watershed. They haven't been bad games per se, but it's maybe because I've watched more lower divs, and lower divs it's really just one person wins water and then it's just a slow eventual death. So, but Fez always an all-star map. Hyper Random, my favorite. Golden Lakes, I don't like. But finally, the admin pick, it's going to be between what is it? We got between Sertao, Terrace, and Thames. So we have a 2 out of 3 chance of a good map. And we get it. We get Terrace. This is a pretty solid set. I'm a little bit disappointed in the Golden Lakes, but the rest I like. Like I said, Savannah. I'm a fan of when there's only one of them. And as long as it's not too often. So, should be good. I think if Golden Lakes or Savannah was one of Thames, Acre, or Lagoon, I'd be a little bit happier. Or Watershed. But Swamp and Lakes, I just don't like. Alright, let's get on to the Civ draft. We'll just run through these and check halfway. Aztecs, Inca, Jurchens, Bengalis, Burmese, Byzantines, Ethiopians. Almost feels like alphabetical, lost all the V's. Jurchens, notable. Bengalis, notable. Ethiopians, Byzantines, and Burmese are picked like mid-tier civs that people pick sometimes. Ethiopians at higher divs, kind of, the torsion engines is very much liked. So don't think it'll be too much of a thing. I'm from USA. I am. I live on the East Coast in Boston, but I'm originally from Minnesota, which is in the middle of this country. Bohemians band, there's another B. Romans, Khmer, Muisca, Huns, Sicilians, and Vietnamese. So a couple decent civs here. Outside the Jurchens, nothing super, super top tier. So I expect the bands are going to be some pretty powerful bands, or we're going to be having a high stakes match. Vietnamese, Huns, Sicilians, all very strong at this. That's why you have Sun? There's no Sun right now. It's night out. It is night out right now. Um yeah, it is 10 p.m. here. So there is no sunlight. I just have lights on in this room that may mimic the sun. All right, let's get on to the blind picks. Oh no, we get the bands first. Persians, Gujaras, Georgians, Dravidians. Interesting. All right. I mean, Dravidians, we don't really have a water map, right? So there's no water maps. Like, you could argue Golden Lakes has water on it, but it's not really a water map in the traditional sense. So Dravidians are, lucky will be sad, but we'll see. Georgians and Persians make sense. Gujaras absolutely make sense. The Dravidians is, I think some people think they're much better than they aren't. Lucky being one of them. Some people think that they aren't as good as people say. Otter being the other side. Celts make sense. Turks make sense. Cumans. Chinese ban is very interesting because again, there's no water civ, no water map unless it's a hyper random. But um, just because Chinese on land aren't great, like they don't really have a super good powerful composition. Like they have rocket carts and stuff, but it's pretty weak comparatively. Um, like the Koreans are still around, so you could have banned the Koreans instead of the Chinese. I mean, maybe you're just gonna blind pick them, but okay, Ace is just playing with a toy. Um, when I hear him sprinting all around, I usually am worried that he went to the bathroom on the wall. So, uh, and then the humans, some people just don't like being rushed. The Goths are still around, but Huns are gone, so it kind of avoids that. Um, so reasonable bans so far. Let's get through the blind picks. Slav Saracens, beautiful. I mean, if I remember correctly, Legend is a Slav's king. So I'm surprised Tusky didn't ban it in the draft, but I assume it's going to get sniped because nobody lets Legend have the Slavs. But Saracen Slavs are crazy, and Tusky's going to get the first pick here, which is actually huge. Koreans are available. Like there's a lot of powerful civs still. We have the Berbers, we have the Koreans, we have, Magyars, we have the Mongols, we have Spanish, Tatars. So there's some pretty high power civs left. And there's the Koreans' first pick. Yeah, that one makes the most sense. I think Tusky may have known too that he gets the first pick, so he gets 3. Players have same level here. Yeah, so they're both Division 5. All the matches in Tarnished Deathmatch are going to be roughly, ideally, the same skill level. It's more likely to be around the same skill level for the higher divisions because those are the players we know what their skills are. Whereas at some of the lower divisions, like my division, we have me, who's never played competitive deathmatch, besides DMNC, but that's not really like NASA wasn't a real team. Let's be real here. Um, we have Michi players who have barely ever played open DM. We have 2 new people in there, and like one is Ganji X and another. Actually, no, we have 1 new person. So like the lower divisions have a lot of the newer players who haven't played before, and we're going off their RM skills. So there is going to be some maybe disparity, but so far it's turned into every single division has, of all the people who have played, it is a lot more even than we all thought. So the seeding has been very well. So all the players should have roughly the same skill level, especially in this division. So Mongols picked, that makes sense, and the Berbers. So we're getting all the power civs. Hindustanis, the RM trap. Tusky is a... Hi. What toy you got there? If you knock that in here, you're going to lose it. It's going to get under the desk, and I'm not going to crawl under it for you. You can come up and chill if you want. Just, don't knock over stuff. So now we get the snipes, and we have a quick visit from my dear friend, Ace. You can see the tail. Please don't... I need to see chat, Ace. Thank you. What's up, Chipmunk? How are we doing tonight, bud? I have a bunch of admin stuff that I have to take care of, but I'm delaying it with this, so... I need a bigger water glass if I'm gonna be casting. Hindustanis will be interesting. Here are the snipes. Saracens and Mongols. Legend is gonna get to play his Slavs. Tusky didn't ban the Slavs. Crazy. We're gonna have could we have a Slavs mirror on Savannah? That would be sick. Spanish makes sense. I mean, what else is like the Franks are still really strong. Like not Japanese are still around. This is just a super high powered draft. Magyars, Teutons. Teutons are interesting. I feel like a lot of people like the Teutons more than they probably should be picked. They're very nice defensive, slow. It feels like they're what Britons used to be, where they're a very slow defensive civilization that's hard to really take out. And so I think a lot of players like that, and they can kind of defend with it. So if you're not really relying on and Legend likes his Slav siege, so he's definitely going for some good siege civs, which the Teutons are. Nice flank for team games to hold while the other two, exactly, yeah. So it's I think Teutons are one of the civs that has played more than they probably should be, even though they are, I think the general consensus is they are better than they used to be in the meta, and people pick them more often. So it is interesting that they've been picked in a lot of games. So Bulgarians, We aren't playing Acre, by the way. So Chipmunk, here's the map pool if you care about it. We have Terrace, Hyper Random, Golden Lakes, Fez, Savannah. So nothing too gimmicky besides Hyper Random. And no water. So Malian's interesting, but... And there's the Britons. So Legend likes his defensive civilizations. Interesting that I think a few of the civs that could have been picked weren't. We had which Japanese weren't taken. Bengalis got banned. So something I missed. Bohemians weren't around. No, Bohemians got banned. There's one other one that really jumped out to me. Tatars weren't taken, but Tatars haven't really been. What's up, Peon? Rare cast this time? Yeah, so as a side note, I explained this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to probably start doing a bit more late night casting when I just kind of feel like doing nothing. Because we are halfway through this TDM, and we're only a fourth of the way through the total casts. So I might start doing more regular late night DM casting. Also depends on how many viewers I get, though, because it is kind of rough sometimes doing it if there's no one in chat or anything, but... There's not a lot of AoE viewers at night, especially because most of the DM scene feels like they're European, and so a lot of them are asleep at this time. So, easier to watch and play DM? Oh, absolutely. And I'll probably just stick with the co-cast, or solo cast for now. But in the future, absolutely, I'll consider it. Yeah, Tatars haven't really been picked a lot. The Vietnamese got banned, right? There's one other civ that I was thinking of, not the Poles. Lithuanians are all right, but they're not, like, not picking them makes sense. Maybe there wasn't a civ that we missed. No, maybe we got all the power civs. Trying to think. Yeah, okay. I guess we have everything here. Yeah, no, Lighty, I'm a little disappointed you didn't sign up for this TDM after France played in DM Nations Cup. Because you were on Team France, right? You are the same Lighty I'm thinking of. But you know, hey, I agree with you. It is easier to watch than play, but it is fun to play. Like, I'm not really training too hard for deathmatch matches, but I am try-harding when I actually play them. But it is fun. So, all right, first map is going to be Terrace. I'm actually going to go grab a glass of water because I know my throat's going to need it. So give me 1 second. I would love to hear for Terrace what you think the civs are. I think Lighty might know. Lighty, if you do remember seeing the clip or like the screen when I started stream, don't spoil anything. But if you don't know, then feel free to guess. I'd love to hear your guesses. For Terrace, I think we're going to see Hindustanis versus Malians versus Magyars. That's my guess. Malians versus Magyars. I'll be right back. Grabbing some more water. Bulgarians versus Magyars. All right, I could see that. Yeah, without the Acre match, it's always a little bit interesting to see where like Bulgarians are played because Conics always feel very strong, but every time I feel like I think about Bulgarians, they just feel weak. Or like I hear top players not really believe in them, mostly Otter, because all my opinions come from watching Otter streams. Let's be real here. Cool. I think we can get into it. Clear the throat a little bit. The good news, I went to my doctor's today, and we're getting an inhaler to help with this. So I'm gonna be taking it twice a day, and hopefully, yes, don't sign up. You're Mega Noob in DM. You're probably better than I am. It is. It's just I just find it fun, and because I'm adminning and casting, I was like, maybe I should enter and actually participate. Partially to pump up the numbers, but also because in my mind, the best way to be better at casting especially for me, is being better at the game. Like, say what you will about T90, but T90 is a good player. Like, he's not a great player, sure, but he is a very good player, so he can understand the game at the high level. And so that was part of the reason his analysis, him and Dave, like their analysis are very good because they are good at the game. And if I want my game to be better, my casting skills to be better, I need to be better at the game as well. So that's one of the reasons I'm playing. So, just weaker than the better civs and better than the weak civs. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not the only reason T90 is a great caster, and why like T90 is just charismatic as fuck. So, and also a Vikings fan. Gotta love the Vikings fans. Though of course, why did he do that? Anyways, let's get underway. Swap over here. Maybe Spanish, you're thinking? All right. I can see Spanish here. Yeah, I can also see Spanish on hyper random if you're hoping for water. Like, hyper random, it's always fine to hedge your bets on a water civ. So, like, Spanish or Koreans there, and then maybe Berbers there. So, 3-hour Spanish Magar's game this turn? Probably. I wish I was better at coding and, like, statistics, and I could do more of that. But, anyways, let's get underway. Welcome to game number 1 of this TDM. Hold on a sec. We're going to redo the intro. Casting. There we go. Alrighty, welcome to game number 1 in this Division 5 set between Legend, the Dream Legend, playing the Britons with a villager building a house way out in there. And then in the gray is Tusky playing the Slavs. Going up Slavs against Legend. Britons on this map feels so dangerous. It's such a slow civ. But I guess, like, I don't know, it's just it's so risky to be going up, like, Terrace is kind of a rush map, right? So Halberdiers do come out, try to, a little bit of delay time here. No villager kills on either side. Yeah, no, this is a shocking one. Slavs, I mean, you can play whenever. Though we have a stable opening for the Slavs and houses. Tusky might not have practiced with the Slavs before. He might not have known that you just make your production buildings for the first few and then you make your houses. That is like the reason the Slavs are so strong on top of just being good bonuses everywhere else, right? It's their military buildings provide 5 population space. You can essentially make 3 barracks out the gates, or even stables if you want to go for the Cavalier rush. But Cavaliers coming forward into Halberdiers and Champions. We already have some Arbalests coming out earlier than the Longbows, so getting those Arbalests out fast with the extra range. Bunch of production spam. No villager kills yet, so his Cavalier rush hasn't really paid off yet. Though it was a little bit slower than it probably could have been. You see some stone quick walls going up, trying to go up at least. This villager is getting blocked by the archer. This could be problematic. This could be very problematic. And here are the champions trying to get some shots off. No. So, doesn't look like this rush pays off at all. Instead, we have forward siege workshop. We have forward production. It is going to continue to be annoying. I mean, these Cavaliers will probably start catching stuff if Legend isn't careful. But the Cavaliers have not paid off and just cost Tusky a lot of gold. And he's gone very heavy into champions, which the Arbalests will chew through pretty heavily. I mean, they do get all the armor upgrades and the Gambesons, right? Yeah, so they are going to have decent armor. But with the long range of the Britain cross Arbalests, it is going to be hard for those to engage on them. You need to see the siege coming out. And once the siege is involved, it'll be a little bit of a different story. But that is a lot of gold spent on Cavalier that did nothing. And sending them forward, probably a mistake. I mean, there's enough of them here. They're going to be able to come forward, but oh no. Losing half of them. Probably just bad rally. Like, they just were close enough. And, I mean, Siege is good. Going to chop down some trees here. But Siege is very good against Arbalest. The problem is the British crossbows and British Arbalest, and once the longbows come out, they can snipe the Siege before the Siege can snipe the archers. They did get one shot, did get a second shot. So some nice Siege micro from Tusky, having it pop out and immediately fire. But the Arbalests are going to be a problem. And we have Siege Rams coming up. The #1 counter to the Britons are Siege Rams. Do we have any champions on the field? We don't have many champions for Legend currently. Needs to get them to come forward to deal with the Siege Rams. But if those Arbalests are not microed. They're going to be shooting all their arrows into the Rams and not be doing much damage. In the meantime, some Trebs come forward. Tusky wants to be the aggressor here. We don't have any Warwolf Trebs out quite yet, but the Siege Ram with Slav champions is going to be very tough for the Brits to deal with. Siege Onager is going to land a shot, kill a lot of longbows. Nice little shot there. And we do have defensive onagers from Legend as well. We have game audio very loud. I'm actually going to pause that real quick and just turn off the game audio because I think I had this for RM settings. And we will continue. It's a little bit better. I might do it down a little bit more. Let me know if it's still too loud. I'm still going to turn it down a little. Combat volume here. We'll go down just a little bit more. That's better. Let me know if it's too loud or anything. It is an awkward matchup. I mean, Britons are an awkward matchup, I think, for any civ, right? Britons are just one of the weirder civs to fight into. The Cavalier opening definitely not doing any favors. And some bad siege micro. Oh, we saw Legend or Tusky shoot his own siege, and this one onager having 6 kills on it for Briton onagers. Such good value there. And now the army of Legend is fully maxed out. 160 military. That is so hard to deal with. The Boyars are out. They'll probably do decently, but there's so many crossbows, so many Arblests and longbows. It's going to be so hard to push into this force of Legend. He has the Rams, but he doesn't have the other units to really contest into it. Legend is a little pop capped, did lose a castle, and needs to get the houses up. Has a few houses that haven't been made because he's 20 pop short. But he is in the driver's seat. Needs to get some siege, needs to get his Warwolf Treb. Still only 1 Treb on the way, probably because of the pop cap issue. And I mean, enough cross archers are going to take down a siege workshop, slowly but surely. And we have Scorpions coming out. Interesting. Not going to be great against the onagers, but will be able to land some shots. Slightly forward castle as well. Onagers going to try to land some shots here. Champions trying to engage here. You need to load the champions up on some of these siege onagers. Or siege rams. But that is a lot of Arblests that Legend did split up the Arblests. And the Rams are going to go try to take out these castle foundations. And if the onagers of Legend can get cleaned up, then Tusky's going to have a great time here. But the onagers should do a decent job of protecting against the Rams. But there's so many siege rams. They're going to take out castle foundations. That's a lot of lost stone. And a lot of army has been lost. I think Legend had 160 military for a second. And now he's down to 90. So some good engagements from Tusky. But he's lost a lot of his forces. And he's sending a few queued forward. And now we have the Warwolf Trebs out to rain hell onto these castles. We have some side TCs and Cavalier patrolling. Cavalier do miss the little expansion on the side. Have Cavalier on this top side as well. Tusky taking nice map control. We have some random units over here just protecting the gold expansion. And so now it's going to continue to be a contesting of the middle. The Boyar is slowly streaming in, getting killed by the Onagers, though the Onagers are killing their own crossbows and taking some shots here. So a little bit of lack of micro from Legend. And I think Legend is going to have his army kind of cleaned up here. He still has all these longbows, but with the Boyars coming forward to try to snipe the siege, and we have some Scorpions and we have some Rams here, might force Legend to fall back. Some nice onager shots though, but the Ram doing so good at soaking up a lot of the damage here. The Scorpions getting some nice shots here. Warwolf Trebs not being properly microed. Here comes some Warwolf shots that'll do some damage, kill your own guy. But another castle goes down. Legend has done some decent damage here and has cleaned up the army of Tusky. Tusky's struggling to keep the military numbers up, but has an eco that is very well rolling right now. 58 on gold, though, needs to get some food rolling. The Slav farming bonus is very strong, but needs to get those farm numbers up. Have some engagement here, and Legend is doing a great job of controlling the map. Castles on both sides. No, the Cavaliers found it. Legend has to go and clean this up. TC did go up. Little shocking here. I wouldn't mind having a villager hop into this TC and just add some fire arrows. But unfortunately, this expansion is going to get found out by the longbowmen. The longbowmen are going to stop this castle from going up. Nice try from Tusky, but unfortunately not going to really pay off here. Okay, and Tusky does know, and now the castle is going to be taking out some archers, and that castle will go up eventually. Tusky trying to engage on this castle on this right side, try to free up some of his mining space, gets access to some of his side gold, and Legend's doing his best to try to hoover it up, steal all the gold from his opponents. Slowly but surely, this TC doing more and more damage, taking out more and more units, and that castle should go up unless Legend sends some more units over there to deal with it. Tusky is losing the front of his base. So So Tusky is forced back, has the weaker military, and is kind of focused on this side. So Legend might slowly but surely lose his forces over here, but he's only all the militaries over here, and that's allowing the front of Tusky's base to be exposed, and only a few trebs forward. The military not too far forward. Probably want the longbows under with the trebs, just chip away at any units, but those trebs are a little bit exposed. There's only 3 of them, and now Legend is going to have to deal with Tusky repositioning to try to force this fight and deal with these trebs. And now the longbows are here, and it's going to be hard to engage into these Warwolf trebs. The military from Tusky, the numbers aren't really there. There's no rams to help out to soak up all the fire. So the siege is on its way. A lot of siege onagers will do great work here. The trebs trying to counter-treb, but counter-trebbing the Britons is a dangerous ordeal. They have their 100% accurate explosive bolt or rocks. So if they decide to fire on the trebs of the Slavs, they're going to win that fight every day. Onagers coming forward, landing some shots onto the trebs. Should have gone for the longbows. But the ram is here to soak up a lot of the arrow fire, and there's no military here. There's 2 onagers, but those onagers do take out those rams, which is kind of all that needed to happen. And now the military gets cleaned up by Legend, and Legend looking like he is in a dominating position here. There is not a lot for Tusky to deal with here. It's a random treb over here to take out this castle in this expansion. Love to see this positioning from Legend. Legend looking like he is going to take the first game. Villagers are on an exodus, abandoning the base, trying to explore over here to take out the side gold. You have some hussars on the field to make sure nothing comes out of these siege workshops. And now the trebs getting counter-trebbed. The Warwolf trebs, 100% accuracy, will land all their shots, and it is going to be a coin roll the dice if that treb can go down in time. But we have more Slav champions going forward to take out these longbows. There's not as many longbows as I think Legend needs right now. Only 21 on the field, and a bunch of them are coming in reserve. The onagers running away. The onagers could be killing some more, but the champions were left to die, and the champions of Legend, with the support of a handful of longbows, do clean them up. And now we have some hussars trying to storm the castle, and it is not going to go well. This expansion has been cleared up. We do have the boyars popping out to do some damage. Castle does go up just in time, so Legend gets that up just fast enough. Boyars will find some damage here, and denies that treb from taking out the TC. But at the end of the day, they can just make a treb here and take out this TC. And that side expansion will not be anywhere useful for Tusky. Tusky's still struggling on the military side. Legend still pop capped up. And I think Legend is going to slowly but surely push into with the British Death Ball. Forward castle, making a really nice position. Needs to maybe make sending villagers forward even more. Probably get a castle on their base. You get out of my face, castle. Siege is rolling in from the side. Oh, Legend just needs more stone. The Warwolf trebs rolling forward. Longbows fighting inside the base. Not the best place for the longbows to be. Villagers in a little bit of a dicey position. There's a bunch of onagers coming over here. We do have 4 onagers from the Britons, so some siege micro will be needed. Onagers gonna land some beautiful shots, but they all get taken out, and the onagers self-kill a lot of the longbows. I don't think it's enough of an opening for Tusky. I mean, Tusky has overboomed. Boyar's going to try to snipe some trebs here. Longbows out of position, not paying attention to the trebs on the south side. Castle will go up and just make it almost impossible to push into this position, but the trebs do get taken out. And the onagers have been microed good enough. Trebs do go down, but this should not delay too much. Longbow slowly but surely taking out this TC. 1 arrow at a time, 2 damage per shot. And Legend continues to push through the middle, and Tusky's at 12 military, 151 villagers. Will he realize his overboom? Probably not. He has rams, he has some boyars. He needs to delete about 50 villagers right now and just queue up a lot of units, but he's low on food, only 41 Slav farms. Way too much stone. And just doesn't have the resources to make military he needs, or the pop space. And Legend continuing to use that slow British death ball. Getting some decent trades here, but it's 1 for 2. At this point, Legend is happy to take that trade. A second castle, securing the position of his opponent's base. Granted, there's not a lot of resources left in the base, but it's still going to be very problematic. Longbows taking out a lot of random little military. The Rams are going to make their push. Once that second castle goes up, it's going to be even harder than before to push into this. Longbows are protected by some castles. Boyar is trying to fight on this side. We have a little bit small of expansion over here, get some more resources. but all the action is in the middle. Onager's going to kill some villagers. Villagers even doing their part, taking out a ram. Why not? Ram's chasing down, and only one champion each of those. Champions will pop out, but the ram should probably not stay alive. Though, I mean, it kind of is. But no, Tusky's at 18 military. There's still so many longbows on the field, and there's just nothing that can really contest this. Even if he loses castle, there's still a castle right here. And I don't think Tusky is going to be able to push into the second castle. Ram slowly but surely goes away, and Tusky is running out of wood in the back, trying to deal with Zico. We have some nice halberdier raids on the side. Onager's going to land some nice shots, clear up a lot of this, and Legend doesn't notice it, doesn't send the halberdiers to kill the siege. Gonna try to deny this castle. Tusky is kind of somehow hanging on. He has gone down to a lot fewer villagers. I mean, losing these villagers to the raids is the best thing to happen to Tusky right now. He does not need his eco to be that tall. Or that large. Some onagers getting some free kills on their own. And, I mean, at this point, we're just waiting for Tusky to either break out. I mean, this is an interesting choice. We had the Trebs take out this forward castle, but just rebuild the castle on the TC to gain control of this gold at some point. And, I mean, Legend continuing to spread out, take out full map control, slowly but surely whittle down the base. This is just a matter of time, I think. A lot of villagers idle. Tusky still just doesn't have the resources. Only 27. They are Slav farmers, but they're just not going to be good enough. Legend sitting on a lot of resources. Rams going up on their own. There's one onager here to deal with this, and it should probably be enough, though they are going to start chasing them down. Some halberdiers are here to help protect against the onager. Defend the onager. No, the Rams are going to catch up to the onager and maybe get a shot hit off. Trebs are here to take out counter Trebs. Castle is going to go down, so Tusky is fighting back a little bit, re-securing the position. Does take out the onager, but the Rams will fall to the halberdiers, and we have more siege on this side with boyars and champions coming back. I mean, Tusky's making the case to push back here. He has to clean a lot up, and this Treb is going to get some nice juicy kills here if it's microed down. And these Trebs also microing down. These Trebs able to just take out all these onagers. Those siege onagers are incredibly needed. But they're going to land some nice shots here and take out these Trebs, take out the archers. And I mean, Legend's push has stalled. Still looks like he's in the driver's seat. But Tusky's kind of expanding on this north side. It's going to start being an issue of resources and space. How is Tusky still alive? That's the really interesting question here. I don't know where Legend went wrong. Maybe he just didn't use his own rams. Maybe he just didn't make enough Trebs. But Tusky has kind of fought back. I mean, he's still so far behind with military. But he's been getting some really efficient trades with these onagers. He just doesn't have a lot of eco. Making a back castle to protect some farms. He's cleaning up this side. He has access to the gold up here. Tusky's not in an impossible situation. It's a bad situation for sure. But it is still feasible. He also has 12k more res collected. Nice side treb over here to take out this little expansion. Have some boyars here just in case they get attacked. I mean, this is kind of shocking that it's going to go for a longer term. We have the boyar raids now coming out. We do have some monastery relics, but they are out in the open. Otter would not approve of this relic placement. And even more forward relic here. Legend just wants the relics in any matter. Boyar's going to snipe that Treb. And there's not a lot of siege on the field for Legend. Tusky's starting to mount a little bit of a pushback. There's a lot of halberdier coming out. Legend still pop capped with a very balanced military and eco, whereas Tusky's still overboomed. Doesn't even have that much of a bank for how many more resources he's collected. He's lost a lot of units. You can see the KD here. 100. I mean, that's actually not as bad as I thought. Only 60 difference. Treb's going to get one more shot off. Might be able to kill it. It should kill it. Yep. Kills the castle. It's a valuable trade. But Tusky, once again, low on military numbers. Tusky picks Slavs over Legend. They both have Slavs. You'll see the draft in a second, BZ. But they both blind picked Slavs. So Tusky's using it now. Whereas Legend is saving it for another map. I'm guessing it's going to be saved for Savannah. But, I mean, we have the Halberdier raids all throughout the farmland. There's so many castles here to help protect. And again, the more villagers that Tusky loses, the better his military situation is going to be. Though he does need a bit more farming. Only 42 farms, making some more. It's turning into a bit of a wood game. This castle being pressured. Boyars standing by idly while the castle's going to go down. It's going to be harder and harder to replace these. Tusky does have 2k stone in the bank. But you don't want to be losing castles for no reason. We also have this monastery, both players thinking about relics. The woodline's starting to dry up a little bit. We have some, we're going to have to have Legend take over this left side of the map. And more Boyar raids. And the Boyar raids starting to affect Legend. His eco count is starting to drop pretty significantly, down to 77 from 110. Hasn't been queuing villagers. The Rams could go and clean up this castle. And the Slav champions are going to be doing really well against the Halberdiers of the Brits. The Boyars just nuking the villagers of Legend down to 55. This Boyar raid on this woodline. How much kills do these Boyars have? They have 38 kills between them. So many, and now the Rams are here taking out this castle. The champions from the Brits are here to try to take out the Rams. A couple longbows to help out. The Slav champions are here, and this castle is going to go down. And that's going to expose that relic. The side castle did get cleaned up. Monastery going to go down. No attempt to grab the relics from Tusky quite yet. But Tusky has actually stable. His military just continues to be below 50. It's so interesting that he keeps struggling. He keeps over-booming. He keeps seeing these raids and keeps making all these villagers. And we're going to lose some Rams. And now we see Slav skirmishers just to add into the trash pile to deal with the Halberdiers, which I don't hate entirely at this point. With the Slav farms, they're going to have the food. I think it's just Hussars. We have Halberdiers and stuff, but skirmishers aren't going to be the worst option, I think. They are missing they are missing Bracer. And do they even have Thumb Ring? They don't have Thumb Ring. So it's not really going to be the greatest. But, can't be too hard. And we have side production from Legend, just securing his area over here, which isn't the worst. It's just going to be harder and harder for Tusky to break out. But the problem is that this is now starting to turn into a little bit of a wood game. And sending up these production buildings that are just going to die to nothing isn't the best idea. We have Treb just on its own, going to be taken out by these Hussars. Fight in the middle. The skirmishers now causing some problems. We're probably going to have to see some light caps coming in. We do see still no stables. So the skirmishers don't have a great answer besides maybe some siege and a lot of longbows. But there's not a lot of longbows on the field. We have 15 elite longbows. It is all Halberdiers, so if the Halberdiers get close, it should be fine, but Tusky is now the one in the pop space advantage. And so it's kind of turning into a crazy game. I don't think Tusky had any business still being in this game. The monasteries all over the field. Monks grabbing the relics. If Legend brings the relics back home into his base, he will win. But the fact he has them all in the middle of the map would drive Otter up a wall. If Otter was here, he would be frantic. And he's trebbing this monastery, building a monastery. He's built, at least he's going to go for a heist, but he's building his monastery forward. Build another monastery in your back. Build one right in the middle of these castles, right here. And it will be protected. But if you leave this here, it's just going to get trebbed by Legend when he pushes back. So we have a relic heist being made. Monk is on the way, but he is pop capped. So Legend needs to take a little bit of a fight here to open up some pop space. And he's going to continue raid. Huge woodline, very, very open. Legend has no stone to protect the woodline. And these Hussars find all of these exposed villagers. A couple champions are here, and Halberdiers clean this up. But Legend should be wary. Tusky knows where the eco is, and Legend's eco is so down. His military is down as well. He is relying on these 12 elite longbows, and now the push on this top side is problematic. Taking out another monastery. The monk is on its way. Tusky could make a comeback here. And now the Hussars free to rain terror in this woodline. Military is coming over here to help defend this. It is going to be dangerous. These champions swinging around. The champions, Slav champions, so good. Where are they going? Only one skirmisher is going to defend the villagers. These Slav champions are going to melt through these villagers like a knife through hot butter. Or hot knife through butter. They also have this trample damage, or they have the splash damage as well, so they're just going to kill all these villagers. And Legend is down to 45 villagers. Longbow's finally springing into action, but all the action is on the front side of the base. The monastery's gone down. Treb's going forward, a little bit exposed. But there's not a lot of military for Legend. The hustle raids doing so much damage. Now hitting the farms. A lot of villagers are idle. A lot of villagers in their TC. We have a monk in the TC as well. This woodline has been massacred. The skirmishers have found the longbows and are just destroying them. And Legend might lose this. Legend was looking so strong, but the Slavs stayed resilient and survived. Longbows are going to take out this Treb, which I think was a bit of a mistake at this point. And the relics have been heisted in a very dangerous spot. But now it is a very big wood game. We have some wood piles in the back, so Tusky is going to have access to plenty of wood, and now he's knocking off this left side. There's only this wood line in the back and this wood line, but Legend just doesn't have the eco anymore. He is out of gold. He has lost his monastery over there. He never grabbed this relic. I don't know where that relic went. And Legend has to call the GG. What a game by Tusky. I can't believe he survived. Wait, is the monk with the relic? He is in the relic. The monk is in the TC with the relic. But GG to Tusky staying alive. The Slav King losing to the Slav. I thought I was certain Legend had it. Like, you look at these positions. Like, look at this position, right? How do you lose this position? Tusky survive. How do you win from here? Tusky losing his base. I think Legend just didn't push hard enough, didn't make enough trebs, didn't get the relics early enough, and didn't put the relics in a safe spot. And then just, I don't know. Legend has such a dominating position. It's a credit to Tusky that he was able to come back here, but I feel like Legend just let it slip away from him. That was a great comeback from Tusky. I think if the game goes, if Tusky wins a few more, Legend's going to be kicking himself that he didn't win this game. Wow. What a game one. All right, I don't think I'll be casting a second set after this, that's for sure. If all the games are going to be like this. All right, let me set up the second map, or second match. The second match is going to be, where are we? Here we go. Oh, don't look too hard. We have Fez. Fez is going to be the second match. So we just had Terrace being played. We are playing Fez next. Legend's home map, his first pick. We had the Slavs from Tusky beating the Britons, the last pick Britons. I mean, I feel like Britons aren't supposed to win that matchup in the first place, and he did really well, but it just couldn't carry it through. I think just a non-stop siege, just the siege just kept giving Legend so much value, and just the longbows were never clumped up enough, and they just were unprotected just enough that Tusky was able to kind of whittle them down. As far as Fez goes, could see Koreans, Saracens, Berbers, maybe the Teutons if you want to do the slow long map kind of style. I've seen Teutons be played really well here. Also seen Magyars. You can really choose on this map whether you want to go slow and like plotting with some siege, or you can go with Cav Archers. And I think Cav Archers are the better play at the higher divisions. So we'll see if that's the play. Camels are really good here. You just want a high mobility civ on Fez a lot of times. I can see Bulgarians, Conics being very strong here. Malians with their camels could make sense. I don't think we see the Slavs. I think we see those saved for Savannah. I mean, let's think about this let's work our way backwards. Hyper random. Hyper random, I think, is going to be Berbers versus Spanish. So we don't have those. Savannah, I think, is going to be Slavs versus Bulgarians. Or Koreans. Slavs versus Koreans. And then Golden Lakes. I'm not sure. I've kind of lost myself here. I'm going to go with, I don't think Hindustanis get played. I think it's going to be the... Because there's no Cav Archer civs for Tusky, right? You could argue that Spanish have conquistadors, but not really building up a cav archer mass, right? Hindustanis don't have cav archers. Bulgarians don't have cav archers. Malians don't have cav archers. So like, I think it's gonna be. I could see Koreans here and just go for siege. I think it's gonna be Bulgarians. I think it is Bulgarians just because conics makes sense. Like conics are really solid. Siege is gonna be good. Yeah, I'm gonna go Bulgarians here, and then I think it's gonna be the Magyars. So I don't know. Anyone have any guesses? But yeah, BZ, you can see here that they both blind picked the Slavs, so you don't have to worry. Legend will play the Slavs at some point. I was hoping for the Slav mirror match, but we did not get it, unfortunately. I don't think Slavs are great on Terrace. I mean, Tusky won with him, but I would not. I don't think Slavs are the best choice for Terrace. Though with their. And also, Tusky's opened with Slavs was super unpracticed. He did not open with 3 barracks. He opened with houses, which is a mistake. But all right, well, if no one in chat wants to make a prediction, I guess we can get right into it. All right, welcome to game number 2. Tusky playing the Koreans in the gray, having won game 1, is going to go up against the Slav Legends, playing the Slavs. Here we are, BZ. This is what you want to see. This is what everyone wants to see when you watch a Legend game. All the villagers on a single barracks, sending out the champions. And it's going to be a siege war. Siege versus the rocket carts. Slavs, their siege is cheaper. And the Hussar are going to be annoying. We do have Fire Lancers coming out, which is an interesting choice. I mean, the first one, I guess, to just defend against the Hussar. But we are queuing up a lot of Fire Lancers, which might not be the best choice into Slav champions. So Tusky being a little bit riskier. I mean, it is a trash. Well, no. Fire Lancers cost gold, right? Where are Fire Lancers? They do cost gold, I think. That's interesting, but champions should be very good matched up against this. We do have the Korean champions. How are Korean champions, anyways? They're missing the last attack upgrade. Oh, no, they're missing last attack upgrade, but they do have everything. They do have Gambesons. They do have Squires, so they're not terrible. But missing Blast Furnace is going to be a problem, especially against the Slav champions. We have a very middle castle from the get-go. Both players going also to the left side for the gold. And we see the Slav flood coming forward from Legend. Legend probably playing the Slavs more than most other people have played any civ in the game. And we're going to be doing some infantry trading. We're going to be seeing maybe a few kills here. The Slavs going to chase down this one villager. It does get a nice little kill. A little bit of a champion raid is going to provide a little bit of damage. The villagers are just out trying to build some walls and a little bit trapped in here. It's going to give a little bit more map control from Legend. Getting this castle up in the middle is going to be very nice. We do have the Slav Cavalier here. And the Cavalier are going over here just to try to deny some castles. They do deny the castle expansion, so I like the Cavalier player here a lot more. As long as you don't commit too hard to it. Only 16 being made. Maybe a few more. Probably about 20 or so. Maybe a bit too many Cavalier, but mostly just there to make sure that the expansion isn't free. We have more middle castles in Legend, really going for the early aggression in the map control area. Just get these early castles in the middle. Going to be able to push very hard from here. And I mean, Korean champions are not going to do great against this. We have Korean hand cannoneers. Why not rocket carts? Where are the rocket carts? Okay, 10 heavy rocket carts on the way. The Koreans, of course, their rocket carts, insanely good. The +1 range, extra projectiles is very, very dangerous. War wagons are going to be incredibly helpful here. But we do have the Boyars. Those Boyars are going to be problematic, trying to snipe some villagers. And we see, I mean, Legend is doing a masterclass in map control, just to make sure that he doesn't expand too far too quickly. And now the Siege is going to try to engage here, but the Rock Guard's going to trade there. We have the Trebs from the Koreans doing some decent engagements here, and the military for Legend is a bit spread out. But he does have all of his, once his military kind of clumps up, I mean, there's a lot on this left side to try to get this castle. No, the villager got pulled away too. Oh, the select all, the click and drag, and now the villager's going back. But now the military's here. I mean, there's a lot of military here. Legend sent a bunch forward. Villager is going to get chased away. Legend needs all of his army there to engage against these rock cars and trebs, but he's going to lose his castle. He just didn't defend this. He didn't choose to defend it as much. And, I mean, trying to get this... I mean, Lancers, I think, should be able to shoot over this. But all the champions are going to come here and clean this all up. If the Lancers had gone straight to the kill at Villager, that would have been a nice find. But Legend should clean this up pretty easily. Though the rocket cart here is going to make things a little bit dicier. Landing a shot, killing the Villager. And that castle is going to get delayed, and that's going to be quite problematic for Legend. In the meantime, the rocket cart gets cleaned up. The castle did go down, and now the slow-moving AI army is going to try to go forward, is going to get hit by the rocket cart. Allinger is going to land some nice shots here, take out a lot of the gunpowder, taking out the rocket carts. Great siege micro from Legend, landing the shots that he needs to, and the rocket carts trying their best, but aren't going to be able to do much here. I mean, a lot of the military, though, is being held back by Legend. Not sending the units forward, not sending his champions forward. They're in the base, actually. They're taking out TCs on their own. Legend content to just delay it in the middle of the map. While the military's held up here, the forces of Legend are trying to kill villagers. And I mean, just take out this TC. Please take out this TC. Alright. Now it's being pulled back, and now the other castle is falling, and Legend still is going to let this go. The map control was very nice, but unfortunately he was a little bit lax in protecting these castles and forcing the fight on Tusky's side. He is going to have some nice boyars over here to control the map expansions. Castle still hasn't gone up quite yet. A little bit lack of awareness from Legend to get more villagers up there. That is the risky thing with these kind of castles, and the Trebs are over here to deal with these castles. I mean, this is... the danger is hopefully Legend didn't overextend here. There's so much military sitting back here that Legend's just waiting to go in for. And now he's forced to pull back. The castle hasn't gone... I mean, I guess he's making a castle and expansion over here. So he is going to have some siege. He's going to have a castle. He can get some gold from his opponent's side. And these boyars going to do a pretty decent job of delaying the expansion, but with all the halberdiers over here, Tusky is going to be able to expand onto the woodlines, onto the dock, and try to maybe get some stone, maybe some relics. And now Legend's going to be the one springing a trap. The Onagers going to land some shots, get some really nice hits off. And Tusky probably wasn't expecting a large military just standing idly in the middle of the map. Where do we go from here? That is going to be the question. And I mean, Tusky going forward instead of this corner spot won't know that Legend has set up behind him. But all the action is going to be in the middle once Legend decides to actually go forward. The rock cart's trying to get some shots off here. And the sneak Cavaliers from behind are going to wipe out these villagers. Halberdiers are going to try to do their best to protect, and unfortunately that villager does sneak away, just idly minding his own business. And Legend pulls his forces back. I think Legend played this too passively. He could have pushed harder in the middle, I think, and he could have made some damage, but he's been very cautious with his army, very slow and intentional. He's going to look very deadly here. I mean, this is going to be a good engagement, I think. Once the Boyar land, the rock carts are exposed. There's not a lot of halberdiers here, or lancers, to protect these rocket carts. If the Boyars chase down these rocket carts, those rocket carts are going to fall. And some onager shots are going to clean up the fire lancers. But there's not a lot of all the military is being held back by Legend. Legend's micro is very suspect this game. It just feels like he is selecting all of them and sending them in at once, then pulling them all back. He is slowly but surely winning these fights, getting a better KD, but it just feels like he is not taking the engagements he should. And now Tusky finds this very awkward castle to deal with. The Boyar is going to come out and snipe some villagers that were sniped by the castle. And, I mean, it's a little bit of a pincer movement. Hammer and anvil and all that. Champion's going to engage here. We only have one rocket cart on the field. A couple more coming in here. Legend is going to have a dangerous army here, but the rock carts are in such a better position. The onagers a little bit out of position. Landing some shots on those halberdiers is going to be very nice here. But those onagers, the rock carts trying to take out these rams, and now the units of Legend starting to come forward, and now the rock carts starting to fall. Only that one rocket cart left, or one onager left, but these boyars are onto the rocket carts. But nice micro pulling them back and taking out the onagers of Tusky, or of Legend. And those Trebs get sniped by the Boyars. The Rams going forward to take out this castle, take out the Trebs. And, I mean, it's kind of just been non-stop trading in the middle. Neither player really able to gain a position. And then it's just the Rams coming forward to take this out. The villagers could just batter down these Rams. Those Rams are very weak. Those villagers will batter them down. And the Rams need some more protection. And the Rocker is going to take out these Onagers. The Onagers just unprotected here. Yeah, I think Legend kind of let this slip away from him a little bit. He had such a good position, didn't take advantage of it, lost some capsules in the middle. And then just kept his army in the back, in the middle, just kind of standing at the back. We have huge Halberdier raids in the back. Legend may not have noticed. I mean, Legend is overpopped immensely. So he is overboomed. He's queuing up 36 more villagers. So he can afford to lose all of these villagers. It just means that he won't be getting farmers going at this time. Legend building up on the gold side. It is dangerous. We do have this castle slowly but surely being whittled down. Trading trebs. Villagers trying to repair, but only 2 villagers repair against 1 treb. Won't be enough. Boyars are rushing underneath the castle and the TC to kill some villagers on the gold mines. In the meantime, some Boyar raids on this top side. But Tusky is busy raiding, and Legend try to clean up, and there is no farming eco over here. Boyars are finding some nice damage here, and we do have some random cannon galleons here, which took out this castle that was... Oh, they haven't ranged the castle with TC. Interesting. Both players just a lot to deal with. Onager coming forward to try to kill some villagers, and the villagers go forward to try to fight it. And it's just neither player really able to break the other's castle. Every time they try to get a castle, some way of taking out the castle, their trebs are just a bit exposed. Rockkart gets off a shot, takes out part of the treb. And finally that castle goes down, and this is going to be rough. And now Tusky's going to lose access to the gold. Halberdiers trading here. Of course, the Halberdiers from the Slavs are going to be very strong here. Taking out a bunch of these war wagons. Boyars continue to be a problem, but the Halberdiers will clean them up. And the raids got cleaned up. I don't know why they're flashing, but they got some LEDs on their cloaks. And now that with no castle to protect them, this gold expansion should go down. However, there is a lot of war wagons here, and that's going to be tough for Legend to deal with. It's going to force to fall back to his castle. Villagers still repairing the castle, which is wise. And now it's going to be a question of kind of how does Legend proceed here. He's going to try to deny the gold. The war wagons are here, and there's not a forward castle here. Siege being massed up over here, but Legend struggling to get the eco where he needs to continue his military. He is overboomed. I think that's his biggest problem. He has too much booming going on. And there's that castle going up with the war wagons protecting against it. Military, Boyar's coming in here to help with this. And I mean, the castle's not going to go up, but at least he's throwing away villagers to replace them with, hopefully not more villagers. And Boyar is attacking from behind. Onager's finally cleaning up some of these war wagons. The villagers are probably going to get this castle up. So this castle will go up and help protect against the gold. And I mean, it looks like Legend's goal is to starve his opponent out of gold. We've seen this strategy work out quite often. The problem usually ends up being if Legend loses control of the wood. But however, he is not being pushed on the wood side, so the map's not flipping. And this means that Legend should have the advantage here. Especially this castle protecting this gold. They might be able to mine from the other side, but it's going to be dangerous. Onager's going to land some shots onto these war wings. Boyar is continuing to be problematic, and no Halberdiers here to defend. And now all these villagers should get cleaned up. Treb's trying to take out this castle, this very annoying castle. But it continues to stand its ground. Halberdiers take out these Trebs. But now Tusky's starting to feel the pinch of the gold, starting to feel pressured in his base. Cannon Galleon's finally pressuring this expansion. But, I mean, nothing really is happening over there. We do see some expansion over here. Relics have started being picked up. Where is the monastery for Legend? And will auto-approve. We have the monastery in this back corner, which is fine. I mean, there's better places for it, but it's very heavily defended. Mostly, does Legend go for the other relics? Does he start grabbing the ones on this side? Loses the castle, going to lose the TC, and could lose his woodlines now that there's cannon galleons out here. Cannon galleons could be the problem and the way back for Tusky if Legend starts losing access to wood. But he is doing very well right now. Huge Onager shots, taking out all these war wagons and halberdiers. Boyar is going to be able to mop up the rest. Rockkart coming forward. Rockkart could get engagement. No, but Tusky pulls it back. Oh, nope. Oh, God. Oh, God. There's a distraction. Oh god, those rocket carts finding a great engagement. Does die for its trouble, but that was a huge trade for Tusky. But Tusky has to call it GG. Even with that fantastic rock cart shot, he is out of gold, out of resources, out of military. And Legend with the overboom takes game 2 to even it all up. It is so hard to contest the Slav King for sure. I got pinged in the scheduling. Okay, that's fine. So let me switch to the intermission spoilers. We're gonna. I mean, I'm expecting this game to just go to game 5. Like so many sets this season of TDM are just going to game 5. It's insane how many game 5s deciders we have this season. It feels like I wish we had some stats to compare. It is crazy. It feels like every set is almost always a game 5 decider. There's been very few 5-0s. So, next map is going to be Savannah. But yeah, Legend is a Slav King. You never doubted it. I do think Legend played that one wrong. I think Legend had a better chance if he had pushed in the middle at the start after gaining his foothold. Like, I think he just played that wrong. I think he could have won that a lot earlier and not risk taking a lot of bad engagements, because it just felt like he was just so passive with his army, and he had a chance to push under his 2 forward castles. Like, that should be so hard to push into, but he fought like once under it and then just never again. Granted, he was securing the gold, so like that was his long-term strategy, and that makes sense. It is interesting that he played Slavs on Fez. I will point that out. I feel like if you're going to be playing your core Civ, you say that for Savannah, right? Like I always kind of think that like your most comfortable Civ, the one you're most comfortable with, if you have Savannah in your pool, or Runestones or Arabia or whatever the one is, you play your best map Civ there, right? Because it's Runestones. It's El Classic, right? Anyways, next one is going to be Savannah. Even though Tusky lost, he wants to go to Savannah, take off Legends maps, and leave only his. So what are we thinking for Savannah? Magyars, probably. Because, I mean, we worked backwards a little bit. So we have Hyper Random and Golden Lakes after this. So Hyper Random is, I'm going to guess, Berbers and Spanish. So if you're expecting Magyars here, and then Golden Lakes, I could see Teutons. Because it's a little bit slower of a start, I think. So if you're expecting Magyars, you probably don't want to go, like, Malians could be fine with camels and stuff. Hindustanis could as well. Hindustanis actually into Magyars feel like that. Like, Hindustanis might be an RM trap, but I feel like Hindustanis specifically into Magyars might be your best bet between camels and Gulams. Maybe I'm just smoking, but I'm gonna go Hindustanis Magyars. I think Magyars are the one that makes sense for Legend here. But I could see Saracens. When do you play Saracens? Not on Gold Pit or Golden Lakes, right? Like, I guess you could do Saracens here. Because Saracens, right? Hindus versus Magyars sounds like a losing matchup. That's fair. I mean, I think on paper, like very simple paper, camels plus gulams should beat cavalry, like hussars plus cav archers, right? Like, just saying those, like, those are 2 counter units versus 2 normal units, right? But gulams do nothing versus recurve bow. Yeah, I think like when it actually plays out, it's not true on paper at all. So that's fair. I think I mean Hindustani continues to be a RM trap. I am actually gonna fill up on water before this next match. But I agree. Also, hi pasta. Glad to see you're here. Um, you and your teammate are here. You and Peon, which is exciting to see. I will say, Peon, I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't enter. I was hoping all of Team Canada would be there. I was going to try to use that as a tool to try to get Dave to cast some, but we'll see. Hindus want to be played versus Saracens or Berbers. Yeah, the pure camels and just have better camels. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense here. I also will say, I don't know if it was pointed out, but when Dave casted your set against Great Britain and you won, he wanted to jump in because apparently I think y'all have a Canada Discord. So he jumped in on. He was like, I want to jump in on their Discord conversation, but I don't know any of them. So y'all should introduce yourself to Dave at some point, so that when he does eventually cast y'all again, he feels comfortable to hop and fucking cheer y'all on because he was super hyped. I mean, I'm sure y'all saw the VOD that he posted, but it was hilarious because I was like, yo, just all the DM players are super chill. They're super hyped when they win and stuff, and like especially with Otter's insistence, we do a lot more winner interviews than I think RM does. So, anyways, Savannah, my guess is going to be Malian's Magyars. We'll go Malian's Magyars. I want to see what people's guesses are while I come go and grab water, and I'll be right back. All right. So I don't see any predictions, which I'm a little bit disappointed for. You're fine, Pasta. You're down to deny me my predictions and counter. I mean, you were right, but you're fine to tell me my predictions are bad, but you're not putting any forth yourself. So, anyways, I guess if there is no more chatter to be had, we can get on to game 3. We're down to a best of 3. Both players taking a game off of each other. What are we saying? What are the other maps left? Hyper and Golden Lakes. So I'm expecting Berbers on Hyper Random, and I mean maybe Saracen's here, and you played Magyars on Golden Lake. I know. I think Legend has some good options. I just think Berbers are the best for Hyper Random. Um, Spanish I could also see for Hyper Random because in case there's water. Ace. And you're a lot of noise out there. That cat worries me. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting. Oh. Oh, it's funny that it. Oh, I suppose that's just standard. Bulgarians versus Magyars. That makes sense. I think that one makes sense. I think that's what I originally said, and then swapped to Malians. But all right, are we ready to get into game number 3? I think I swapped over. Yes. All right. Welcome to game number 3. Scores all tied up. We have Tusky playing the Hindustanis, and we have Legend playing the Saracens. I mean, Pasta called it. Not exactly, but he said you want the Hindus into the Saracens, and he got that matchup that he wanted. It is going to be a camel war, and the Hindustanis have those deadly Imperial camels. It's going to be tough for Legend. The Saracens, of course, are incredibly strong. Otter's favorite civ. Hussar running past a few villagers. But this open is a little bit exposed for Tusky, but the Camel going to clean this up very quickly before the Hussar can really do any amount of damage. Delays maybe a half a second. And no real damage from either player. Instead, it is going to be a buildup of camels. Saracen's camels get extra HP, but the Hindustanis have Imperial. They have the faster attacks. It's not going to be great for the Saracens. It's definitely an uphill battle. I mean, Saracens get they get only pikemen. Ooh, that's not good. And both civs only get pikemen, so kind of relying on camels to deal with camels. But the Imperial camels are gonna be so deadly. Saracens can go. I mean, do you go cav archers? Do you go? You probably just add siege and hope for the best. But I think you just go straight Imperial camels. Yeah, we just see Tusky queuing up 60 Imperial camels. Legend kind of needs to make something happen early on. We need to see an early market. Take advantage of that market bonus from these Saracens. But he is staying at home. And a slower start. Tusky a little bit stronger of a start. More and more camels are flooding out. He has the military bonus. And a lot of Imperial camels coming around this side. We have a second TC, 2 TCs just right next to the castle. Kind of an interesting build, but I guess it kind of maybe makes sense. Villagers can easily hop into the castle to help protect it. Just to get your eco rolling. The Imperial Camels, only half of them choosing to fight, so it is going to be a nice engagement for Legend. But the Camels are sneaking over here and getting a few kills. 2 kills each. Those Camels did get sent in to try to snipe a few villagers, and they did snipe a few villagers. So both players getting a few eco kills here. Onagers do pop out and probably going to do more damage to themselves than to their opponent. So Tusky still having the military lead, but the pop space is going to be an issue. So Legend has a little bit of a window to try to pressure that, but pop space should be cleaned up pretty quickly as houses go down. The market is up for Tusky. Did Legend do a market? I don't think Legend has built a market yet. There's the market. So Tusky got to the market first. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, the Saracens are going to do fine there, but you kind of want to get there early. And oh no, Imperial Camels, Tusky isn't paying attention. He's going to find these villagers, though. And the Mamelukes, no, not the Mamelukes. Oh, no, there are Mamelukes, yeah. So I guess Mamelukes are going to be the important thing here. So, I mean, Mamelukes are going to be what you need to deal with these Imperial Camels. I totally forgot about the Mamelukes. I can't believe I keep forgetting about Mamelukes. So Mamelukes are going to be the deciding factor here, I think. It is going to be Imperial Camels versus Mamelukes. We are seeing the heavy Cav Archers. So Hindustanis, what do they have on Cav Archers? They have all the armor upgrades. Thumb Ring, they are missing Parthian tactics. So they're missing some armor and missing some attack, but we're not going to be seeing spears. They do have Thumb Ring and they do have ballistics, obviously. They have the armor upgrades. So and they have bloodlines and husbandry. Mamelukes lose the camels. That's fair. But do Imperial Camels beat camels and Mamelukes? That's the important question, right? If Legend micros properly, I mean, I will say Imperial Camels lose to camels, Mamelukes, and siege onagers. So Tusky knows he has to get real out. This is a very weird woodline here, kind of protecting this left side of the map. I think that's kind of the goal of Legend, not Lucky. Though it can be easily trebbed from the other side. So maybe not quite protectable. Onagers landing a nice shot, taking out a lot of Cav Archers. Cav Archers going to be a problem for the Camels. Bombard cannons landing some shots onto the siege onagers. Imperial Camels standing idly behind that tree line, and Onagers going to land some shots, killing both friend and foe alike. Those shots doing very poor. These Onagers killing a lot of their allies. So that siege micro just not there for Legend. It is pretty tough if you're going to be relying on good siege onager shots. And it's different when it's like it's a halb siege onager combination, because the halberdiers are slower. But with camels being your front line, it is a lot harder to siege micro because your camels are going to run into the fire so much faster like this. So it is going to require a lot more micro than normal. Mamelukes are going to try to snipe a bomber cannon, but the bomber cannon might get some shots off. But the siege onagers do get protected. And now both players kind of trying to jostle for position, try to build up their forces. Both of them getting their eco rolling as well. Castle still hasn't gone up. We have some slow expansions. I mean, this generation has some really weird woodlines, so both feel very much more protected in their corner than I think most Savannah games normally should see. Onagers so tough to deal with. Onagers are the best unit in the game in Deathmatch, but you have to be really good, and there's some bad engagements here. The Imperial Camels melting the camels of the Saracens, and the Onagers were a little bit late to the party, and now they're landing some shots. But unfortunately, they're going to dive onto the Onagers, and the Mamelukes doing their best to try to clean them up. But all the Onagers do go down, and the Cav Archers plus leftover Imperial Camels should do pretty well here. Do lose some more Camels. Mamelukes, not the worst engagement. I think as far as bad engagements go, that could have been much worse for Legend. But it was not a good engagement for Legend. So he's forced to fall back. Hussar is going to be a nice little meat shield. Nice might be pushing it a little bit. But it is just a random unit. Just throw in front and soak up some of the fire. Allow the Cav Archers to really pay off. And, I mean, bombard cannons. That is a lot of bombard cannons. Hindustanis. Do they get their extra armor? I assume these... Yeah, they get extra armor. That is nice. Is that the only gunpowder bonus they get? Yes. So... Extra armor on the bomber cannons is going to be really nice to kind of help keep them alive a little bit. It has a lot of bomber cannons, and there's not a lot of military on the field for the Legend. I mean, he has this squad. Treb's going up to try to protect the buildings. But the bomber cannons, there's so many of them, they're going to just melt this forward siege workshop. And it's going to be tough for Legend to try to find an angle to fight at. These bomber cannons are going to come forward, and they're going to land some shots. It's dangerous. Units on stand ground. Trebs should go down here. Going to land some shots. Onger's out of position. They're going to get sniped by the bomber cannons. My Luke's trying to get them. A nice shot onto the Cav Archers. Does take some of them out, but the Camels do get caught out. And, I mean, this is just going to be a bad engagement for Legend. The numbers are just so in favor of Tusky. Getting this middle castle as well to help control the middle, the gold, and the hills. Onagers chase away the Cav Archers, and a lot of bomber cannons did go down. Saracens do get bomber cannons of their own. I don't know if they're going to necessarily try to use them. But it looks like Tusky's going for map control and not trying to push too hard in the middle. Try to keep the bomber cannons alive and just chip away with these Cav Archers. Onagers continue to be a problem, though. Decent shots, mostly on the Hussars, though. And Legend just hasn't been able to get above 40 military. Tusky's staying at around 70. And a lot of it is the Cav Archers and the bomber cannons. So he's starting to accrue a lot of value. That we have a very forward castle with all these bomber cannons. That is a very risky play from Legend, who is now sending Hussars forward. Usually is not a good sign to see Hussars going in against a Imperial Camels and Cav Archers. But anything to snipe these bomber cannons. Does get 2 of them to trade for one of the siege onagers. But those Hussars do get melted very fast. And Legend is on the back foot, down to 200 gold. Needs to back off that castle. And now he's going to struggle. He has some eco on the side, trying to get long distance chopping, which is not where you want to be. Military standing idly by, but he is forced to fight under a castle now. Falling back. I mean, the bomber cannon's numbers have been whittled down enough that he's only 1 bomber cannon for Tusky. So the push isn't going to have as much teeth. I mean, no, the bomber cannons are all up top. Never mind. This push on this top side is so dangerous. There's not a lot defending them here. Oh, no. Here come the Imperial Camels. These Mamluks could snipe a few if they focus fire, but the Camels are here to help protect the bomber cannons. And unfortunately, that push is going to continue once they get cleaned up. And this two-fanged attack from Tusky is going to cause problems. This push on this north side not getting cleaned up. Push on this left side not getting cleaned up. And it looks like Tusky is going to take a 2-1 lead. And Legend down to 3 military. Has 100 eco, so doesn't want to resign quite yet. But now is going to tap out as the forces of the Saracens get obliterated by the Camels. Very well played from Tusky. The nice engagements in the middle, securing the side, and making sure to attack with enough bombard cannons that even if Legend is able to trade decently, the engagements are taking out a lot of buildings. Siege really can't get too close. And yeah, Hindustanis get another win under their belt, much to Otter's chagrin. And they managed to get probably their dream matchup, I think. I think when we were talking about it, like, Hindustanis versus Saracens is probably the best matchup you could hope for in this draft pool, right? So, Tusky getting lucky with that draft pick and going up 2-1. All right. I got to switch over to the 4th game, which is going to be Golden Lake. All right, game number 4 is going to be Golden Lake. Whew. Sorry, a little bit of hiccup. We have the Hindustanis. I mean, it looks like Tusky is just playing his civs in order. He actually is, yeah. Tusky literally played his draft picks in order. That's crazy. He played Slavs first, then Koreans, then Hindustanis. So I guess we might be expecting Spanish. I mean, I think you say the Spanish for hyper random, so I don't think so. So I think that is going to break. It's going to be, is it Malians or Bulgarians on Golden Lakes? And is it Berbers, Magyar? I think you say, I think it's going to be Berbers, Spanish for hyper random, right? So the question is then, Magyars or Teutons into Bulgarians or Malians? And I think you just play Magyars on Golden Lakes. Oh, I feel like Toons are pretty decent with Siege. Golden Lakes, I feel like just isn't where Cav Archers shine because you're kind of fighting over the middle, right? Bulgarian versus Teutons. I mean, I don't know. Do Bulgarians beat Teutons? Probably not. Probably more than Malians, right? Like Malians into Teutons feels really bad, but Malians into Magyars feels better than Bulgarians into Magyars. So I think it's really which matchup do you want? Like, are you trying to get? Are you trying to get the Bulgarians into Teutons or the Malians into Magyars? And then if it goes wrong, like Malians into Teutons or Bulgarians into Magyars, which one is worse to deal with? So I think that's kind of where the players have to make their choice here. It could also just be comfort. Again, I think I'm talking myself out of Magyars because I don't view Golden Pit or Golden Lakes as a Cav Archer map that much. So we probably don't want to play the Magyars and definitely not the Berbers here. So Teutons here makes sense because you can kind of fortify the Gold Pit pretty decently. And if you're expecting Teutons from your opponent, you probably don't want to do Malians. You probably want to go Bulgarians. So I think I'm with you on that pasta. I think you're barking up the right tree with saying Bulgarians Teutons. Anyone else have any thoughts? Any other members want to share with the class what they're thinking? Because like hyper random, it has to be Spanish Berbers, right? You're not gonna save the Bulgarians for hyper random. You're not gonna do Malians for hyper random. I mean, camels on hyper random aren't the worst idea. And Malians, what is the Malians bonus? I always forget why they're good on water. Are they the Malay are the ones that harbors. Malians Navy bonus is, do they not have Navy bonus? They don't. They have Tigui, which is really nice. Yeah, like I don't know. Malians just always like they have the Farimba cavalry, right? That's their bone. That's their key thing. And on hyper random, I feel like you just need some water support. So you're probably going Spanish on hyper random. I don't think you play Bulgarians because Bulgarians feel like they need to be on land. Bulgarians can't have good navy, right? They're missing treadmill. They're missing shipwright. They're missing incendiaries. Like, yeah, you don't want to play Bulgarians on hyper random because if there's a drop of water, you're so screwed. So like, it's got to be Bulgarians. The Berbers are great on hyper random. Magyars are okay. I don't think you want to play Teutons on hyper random. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think if anybody else wants to weigh in, you got a few more seconds while I change scenes. But I think it's gonna be Golden Lakes. I think it's going to be Bulgarians Teutons. I think I'm with Pasta on this one. All right. Any last second guesses? If we had a mod here, I'd set up Gamba, but all my mods are asleep or not here or lurking, which is totally fine. I also am not the biggest believer in Gamba. So, all right, let's get on to game number 4. Welcome to game number 4. We have Tusky playing the Malians and Legend playing the Berbers. That is shocking. That is, I feel like, just a bad draft choice. And Malians into Berbers feels like the best matchup the Malians could have hoped for. Farimba into the camels. Farimba camels into Berber camels. Like, Berber camels are really good, and they have the camel archers. But I feel like that's going to be such a like, if you're going to hope for something, I think that's the case. So, I don't know. I don't agree with either picks here. I think Tusky lucked out because Legend made, in my opinion, the bad pick here. But we'll wait to see. I mean, I guess Berbers on this map could be pretty solid. I don't know. What do Berber, like... How's their siege even, right? Like, they only have regular onager. They have bomber cannons. They have capped ram. I don't know. Frimba just feels like it's really good. I don't know. Berbers are just so good for hyper random. Want to see Genitors? Genitors. Frimba Cav's going to destroy this villager. Villager almost gets away, but one villager sniped. 2 villagers sniped. Some nice finds. Does snipe one of the dockvilles, so the water eco is going to be a little bit delayed. Both players going for fishing ships. And looks like they have to individually queue the fishing ships, which is funny because I have to do that too because my hotkeys are all fucked. I have to figure that out. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, chat, like, y'all know y'all are better at DM than me. Like, what do you think Berbers are a good Golden Lake civ? I don't see the vision. And I assume the Malians are decent into the Berbers. Like, Berbers probably still win this matchup, but Farimba Camels are probably just so hard to deal with. Malian Siege is... They have Siege Onager and Bomber Cannon, so that's going to be really nice here. This is a terrible fight for Tusky, I think. Downhill mostly. Camels, yeah, just not a good engagement. Tusky taking that bad fight, going to have to fall back. And Legend going with some castles on the front side. We see Tusky a little bit slower to get on top of the Golden Pit. And Tusky's going straight through instead of Legend going kind of around the lip. So fighting from this bottom half is tough. And we have pikemen out for Malians. Which, I mean, you don't really want to be making pikemen into camp. Like, they're not the worst. They'll trade somewhat favorably, but not great. So Legend going to find out that most of the units are in the middle of the pit, and he's going to be able to run past and snipe some siege reinforcements, snipe some villagers maybe, and get a good little engagement. But he's going to lose a lot in the middle because there's a lot of forces there. Camels do try to snipe some villagers, but don't manage to get so. They're going to find some siege kills, and that's a nice find. This one goes down. Yeah, just kind of makes the push of Tusky lose some teeth. But Tusky's military is starting to climb up. Legend has his forces hidden in the front kind of area, just on stand ground, just waiting for the defensive fortifications to go up, and he's going to try to fight in the pit. We have a little bit of a pit fight, and no reaction from Tusky, and that's going to be a really nice engagement to start out, and still the camels aren't attacking. The camels are just standing by, finally engaging, but that is so much free damage for Legend that he's probably going to do pretty decently here. I mean, I think the Farimba Cavs still win in the long run, but that was way better of an engagement for Legend than had any right to be. And he snipes the siege once again. We do have a random camel here to try to prevent some docking, but looks like both players trying to get some fishing eco going. Villager just kind of sitting by idly, chilling at the beach. And castle in the pit. We've seen time and time again the first person castle in the middle. It is very, very dangerous to do so. Those castles are going to suffer a lot of bonus damage from the cracked terrain, from the hill bonus, and fighting outside of the pit, sending the trebs from the ground up to the edge, does do so little damage comparatively. We see the treb unpack and pressure this castle, but I mean, we'll see how much damage it takes, right? 360. It does less than 300, 320 damage? Yeah, something like that. And it's going to take a long time to kill that castle, especially with some villagers repairing it. I mean, it's going to be hard to push into this until the bombard cannons of Legend are here, and Legend is pop capped. He has that really nice economy, docking castling the corners to secure, or at least castling the south side, and docking the north side to kind of secure some extra eco space. Taking some Legend from the top Div 1 players. And now this engagement is going to be really bad for Tusky, sending pikemen and siege onagers up the hill. Bomber Cannon's going to be able to snipe a lot of these siege landing some shots onto the camel archers, but this is such a bad engagement. This is the problem with taking the hill, or the pit, is that you're going to be taking really bad engagements because you are fighting uphill. Hussars running in from the side to snipe some trebs, and this has gone horribly for Tusky in the middle. We've seen time and time again, the first person to try to castle the middle usually ends up just suffering for it unless they delay it for a while. Usually you can just castle. I mean, this castle going down is a bit of a shock. So nice find there from Tusky, but Legend could easily remake this, easily keep pressing into the hill. I mean, these Andres are landing some good shots. Camel Arch is not really being microed. Andres going to trade some shots here, land some shots. And I mean, Tusky is massing up a lot of pikemen, and with Siege being protected by the mass of pikemen, it should be kind of fine. But I mean, he's going to be able to chip away with these bomber cannons with his onagers from uphill. We have some side docks, so we're going to be seeing full water eco from Legend, which is very nice. Berbers, of course, have the faster moving ships, which is going to mean that the fishing ships and the oystering ships actually do collect fast. Now, they don't collect faster, but they will return to their docks faster. So a little bit faster eco incoming from those fishing ships. And right now it's all camel archers, which, again, great unit, but against champions and halberdiers and siege onagers, not really the best. So bomber cannons need to be working overtime. Hussars trying to come in and help out, but not really any meat shield here to snipe the siege or to kind of give the camel archers some range to snipe the units they need to. But they're fighting uphill, and it's, yeah, pikemen are just not going to be doing great here. Camel archers picking away, and the siege onagers do get taken out by the bomber cannons. And now Legend can kind of push in. He just doesn't have access to the gold in the front, starting to mine the front gold piles. But he's been focusing on getting the fishing eco on the sides, going up. Maybe. He has a side dock, hasn't used anything from it. Has a lot of fishing ships in the back area. So we'll see once that transfers into maybe fish traps. But oh, we have a lot of camels in the back area ready for a raid. It's a little bit unprotected. The TCs can protect the villagers. But again, this is the nice thing about going to the ponds. You can't be raided that easily. It is very hard to raid the ponds unless you send a villager to try to counter dock. And now we see the push along the lip. Tusky trying to push on this north side. We have champions and pikemen in defense with some siege onagers, but the siege onagers are downhill. They need to be up on the lip. You're going to chase away these bomber cannons. Bomber cannons do sneak away. One does lose. One does die, but those siege onagers should get sniped. No, but they get blocked by the units, and they're going to be traded off. One bomber cannon survives, but the champions trying to engage you, and now the trebs are uphill against this castle in the pit. Again, pit castles are so dangerous to keep up. And the camels going to try to do their best to try to take out the champions, but the champions pretty tanky. Malians they don't have gambesons, so they're missing that extra pierce armor, which would be very nice here. But the Malians do get, oh no, they get the +3 pierce armor. So the champion's going to be very good against the camel archers with +3 pierce armor. And I don't need gambesons because they have built-in better gambesons. Castle gets denied, 68%. No funny numbers here. But the bomber cannon is going to take out these trebs, and that castle could go up if they want. The camels could fight. Now we have an engagement here. The champion's going to snipe some siege. The camel archers taking a lot of pot shots at these champions. But now the onagers landing some shots. These camel archers not paying attention. Oh, that's so many dead camel archers. That was a very nice engagement from Tusky. We have a monk going forward to try to get a conversion, but the bomber cannon is just sniping all the siege. Takes out a bunch before it goes down. I mean, the camel archers do kind of stay alive. That was a lot of dead camel archers, but 53 kills on those camel archers is a lot of really good value. Both players kind of ecoing up. I mean, the eco for Tusky is on the field. There's not as many ships for Tusky. We do have some side stables attempt, but with this castle already here and this woodline already here, this shouldn't really amount to anything. In fact, these camel archers could go and snipe that villager. Trebs continue to be sniped. Again, these champions with their extra pierce armor are incredibly hard to deal with when the camel archers only get 12 attack and they don't do bonus damage against infantry. So with 8 pierce armor, that is 4 damage per shot. That is not a lot for a cav archer unit. It is going to be good, but it's not great. So champion's definitely going to cause problems for Legend if he can get onto the mass and continue to micro with the siege, getting some really nice shots, killing a lot of camel archers. It is all about those siege onager shots. Tusky getting the trades that he really needs to and finding some bombard cannon snipes here. On this south side, the bomber cannon raid paying off here, getting a few kills, going forward to take out this castle. I almost feel like you just kept killing villagers with it. Camel archers get summoned and they will go and snipe this bomber cannon. Maybe. Kill the villager. Now they kill the bomber cannon. Yeah. This expansion does get to stay up another day, so another cannon will deal with that. Champion's trying to protect their trebs, but the camels go in and snipe the trebs. This is a big force from Tusky in the middle. The champion's very hard to deal with for the Berbers. But the Hussars plus the camel archers are going to be able to do enough damage to kind of whittle away, but it is with siege backing them up. These camel archers are going to start falling behind. I think Tusky made the right play going into champions as opposed to the Farimba cavalry. Those onagers going to land some shots onto these camel archers, though they are fighting uphill under a castle. Camel archers do get pulled away and don't get a lot of kills from those siege onagers. So nicely done by Legend, keeping his camel archers alive, which is kind of the name of the game here. This expansion is getting cleared up. Bomber cannon continue to rain down shots. Bomber cannon has so many villager kills. Finally, the villagers get pulled away, and those should get sniped. But that bomber cannon getting so many eco kills. We have a random light cav raids on this north side. unfortunate, but I mean, Legend has so much food in the bank and so many fishing ships. Needs a lot more fishing traps. But, you know, and never made fish down here. So I think I like the pond play from Legend. He just didn't really commit to it. Unfortunate. The micro for the siege is tough. But there's the shots that he needs onto the camels. Landing some nice, juicy shots. But now the onagers of the Berbers are here to deal with it. And, I mean, he loses a lot of them. But I think at this point, Legend kind of is content to trade siege for siege, even unfavorably. With the map control and the better units, I think. This gets a lot of res collected. But yeah, Legend has such a huge kill death advantage here. And now the Treb's taking out this castle. Rolling forward, being annoying. But those Trebs might be a little bit too far forward. Camels going into defense, but there's only camel archers. Again, you need some sort of meat shield here to protect the Trebs. Onagers are going to try to land some shots onto these champions. The champions just run underneath and snipe the Trebs, snipe the siege onager, and now the camels have to deal with the champions with gambesons. The siege onager rolling on the side. Legend's not paying attention. Gonna lose one camel volley. Two. Oh god. Oh, this is looking bad for Legend. That is a lot of dead camels finally pulled away. 13 dead camels. And we continue to have raids. All the eco for Legend being destroyed. He has the fishing eco, but the fishing traps aren't really, and there's not enough fish traps. So the raids from Tusky doing a lot of damage. And Legend just not really taking advantage. I mean, finally adding some fishing ships on the top side, but none on the south side. So really would love to see some more fish out of Legend. He's done the things right. He just hasn't fully gotten to where he needs to. Camels continuing to get value here. For the champions with Gambesons being problematic. Trebs uphill, firing downhill at these Trebs. Taking one away at a time. And Tusky's starting to stream forward with some units. I mean, probably not the engagements he really wants, fighting under the castle with a bunch of camel archers uphill. But he is killing a lot of villagers on this north side, and he's overboomed once again. We saw this in the first game, but Tusky kind of overbooms quite a bit. Only one Treb, and that Treb probably gets sniped by a bomber cannon. Champions trying to engage onto this. Onagers trying to fire at some camel archers. Yeah, it's really just how well can Tusky keep these onagers alive. He's had some trouble with it, especially with the bombard cannons. Lands a shot, cleans it up. Hussars are here. Champions are good against Hussars, but not as good as maybe Halberdiers. Pikes are here as well to snipe them. It is really just a question of how much can you keep these onagers alive. And if you keep those SOs alive, it's going to be very tough for Legend to deal with them, as we found. Side pushes. Now the raids for Legend start going on. I mean, there's a bunch of castles in the eco, so the eco is relatively well protected. Some soft spots up on this north side. And a lot of fishing ships sitting idly by. Both players not too experienced with playing with the pawns. But this castle in the middle gets cleaned up. It is a problem with pit castles. Siege onagers trying to micro against some Trebs. I mean, those siege onagers are too far forward. This happens a lot. The Hussars are massed up, and the Hussars are going to roll in and snipe the siege onagers. And once those siege onagers go down, it is much easier for Legend to take his engagements. Yeah, there's going to be huge cleanup. Legend massing up those Hussars. So valuable. I mean, champions should beat Hussars, but when there's that many Hussars, and with the camels supporting them, it is tough to deal with that number. Honor's going to land some shots, get some good hits on those Hussars, but the Hussars are able to run past and take out these siege onagers. So once again, Legend finding the siege snipes that he needs to. And now he's regaining control in the middle, taking Tusky off of these golds. And Tusky has access to the oysters, but he deleted all of his fishing ships. He's never taken the oysters. I mean, I guess that clears up his space. He did have a bit of an overboom. But you have oysters. You have how much gold here? You had 3,600 gold there that you could have taken. We have more fish on this north side. We have a counter dock. Maybe thinking about trying to get the fish up there or something. We'll see if Legend reacts. And now adding fish on the south side. Again, Gambeson champions, or not the Gambeson, the Malian champions, causing problems with the camels. And once again, we have a nice force going forward. Only 2 Trebs. Tusky's been trying to get some pressure with the Trebs, but he's been losing so many of them that he's never been able to mass too many. And looks like he wants to go push on the south side, maybe try to clean up this fish area. We have some fires out to deal with these fishing ships. These fish are going to melt. And no, it looks like Tusky kind of is indecisive of where he wants to push. He's going to use a front line of Trebs. That is not recommended. And those camels take some heavy shots from the onagers. Champion's going to do decently here. Onagers going to land some shots and take out all the camel archers. Down to 1 camel archer on the field, 3 more on the way, and Tusky looking really, really dangerous here. Villagers trying to snipe some siege. And looks like Legend needs to reconsider his military composition. We see more and more heavy camels and hussars being added. And Burrs, I guess, don't have a great option for... I mean, you can go for your own infantry, right? You have the upgrades. You have champions. You could do some infantry trades, right? Malians, they have higher pierce armor, but no other bonuses to their infantry. Granted, no bonuses for Legend either, but I feel like champions plus... If you kept your camel archers alive, if you had champions plus camel archers, it'd be very tough to deal with. And now the south expansion is getting pressured finally. The fish is being cleaned up on this north side. Somehow the dock got deleted. I don't know if that was a raid or something, or just manual deletion. But looks like that dock was removed. But this castle should go down, and these fish should be pressured as well. But we have a huge camel force with hussars going in for a raid. A lot of exposed villagers, but they're not really doing the damage quite yet. We have some good old Gebettos trying to range some of these cavalry units. Villagers trying to find some wood lines. I mean, we're starting to get a little bit to the wood game, I guess. There's still so much gold on this map, though. The fighting in the middle continues to be deadly. We have an onager firing uphill at the Trebs, but champions should clean that up. And that's a lot of Trebs to take out this castle. And once again, the castle's in the pit. So hard to keep them alive. They kind of are needed at times, but it's just, oh no. Onager gonna kill your own units here, but Hussar... Not exactly the best trade. This onager doing his best. Gonna get some kills, but not where you want to be. Costing you 3 Trebs. And the castle might survive because of that. You need 4 villagers, but it might already be too low of HP. With the hill bonus, yeah, unfortunately that castle does go down again. Now it's Hussar spam from Legend. This is quite the game. Finally, some ships were added by Legend to try to contest those 2 fast fires and try to reclaim some of the water. There's still plenty of food up here, still plenty of gold. So I think it is in Legend's interest to gain the water eco again. Now we're starting to see some camel archers on the field again. Hussars doing more and more raids, killing more and more villagers. Tusky's eco starting to drop. Down to 80 villagers, not queuing up any more of them. The raids decimating the farms up north, decimating the gold lines. Tusky's going to be struggling. He has access to all these oysters he just never took. He could have made fish traps. We'd start seeing a lot more fish traps. Not the cleanest fish traps from Legend, but I mean those are going to be raid-proof eco. We do have these camels raiding a little. We still have some gold in the base for Legend. That's crazy. I mean, there's so much gold in the front. It doesn't really matter. Camels getting some kills here, being annoying, but Legend's eco kind of not in danger because of the fish and just all mining in the front side. Legend definitely kind of playing slow but surely, has a bit of a bank build-up. And again, it's going to be a question of how well can these onagers do. Make sure they don't kill their own units and don't get sniped. But Tusky needs to rebuild some eco, adding some more villagers. And now we see Legend going back to add some more fish on this north side. Fish playing so valuable, being so valuable here. I do want to check the statistics after because it's crazy that Tusky has more res collected. And now the onagers landing some really nice shots on the hussars, but a couple of the siege onagers do get sniped. Of course, gold won't be an issue anytime soon. We have less wood on this map than gold, so it's going to be a gold issue before anything else. And we do have some relics for Tusky. He has managed to claim some relics, probably from the middle. I mean, we may have had a glitched No, there's not. Actually, there might be some glitched relics here. We may have not have had relic spawns. We'll have to check that at the beginning. We may have missed. It may have been a bug map. Some Andre shots on the cam archers once again. Nice shots from Tusky, but Legend reacts just in time. Castle should go up. Not enough champions are over there to help defend. I mean, they are going to clean up the pit itself, but this castle is going to be a really nice defensive staging point. Some Trebs are going to be able to range these castles and protect this gold. And I mean, there's still plenty of gold on the map for Tusky to access. It's just so hard to push uphill out of the pit. Bomber cannons are a bit exposed, and I mean, the speed of Tusky's army is not very fast. Champions, of course, not the slowest unit, but it's hard to kind of rush down these bomber cannons. Oh, little baited to get them forward. Camel's trying to snipe some of the siege. They're going to get pulled away, and the champions should do well. Does take out 2 of the onagers. Bomber cannon is trying to snipe some more. Onager's going to land some shots on the camels, but it is uphill, so not the best damage. But is going to take out some of the HP. And those camels can heal, of course. But the siege does get taken away. And that's going to mean that Legend can continue to kind of fight uncontested without worrying too much. Castle needs to get repaired. The Trebs are out. I think it's a little bit slow from Legend to try to get some counter units. There's some Trebs over here. Granted, he is pop cap, so that is a little bit of an issue, but that Treb should be doing something. Snipes one Treb, should be able to get the other one, maybe. The villagers repairing plenty. And yeah, the eco, just so hard to contest, is really, really nice for Legend. There's a reason fish is so important on this map in a weird way. Andre's landing some shots downhill, though. Takes out a bunch of the cav archers and the hussars, but that's kind of been this whole story, is so much gold to replace all the units. And now the Trebs are out. Be better trying to maybe snipe something. These Trebs should take out this castle, and I mean, Tusky's going to have some difficulty trying to rebuild these castles, reclaim his base. He's going to be losing the front side of his base a bit, and it's going to be a problem. He's struggling to gain access to this north side of the map, but he is kind of taking over some of the south side. Taking over the wood. How is the wood check right now? 22k wood left on the map. Some wood on the south side, wood on the north side. Onagers trying to survive, but they're so exposed here. Hussar's going to take out a couple of them. And the Hussars continuing to circle them like sharks. I mean, Legend's starting to going to be an issue for wood. I mean, he has 3,600 banked up. And he has the fishing ships already made. Hussars finding more and more siege snipes. A lot of siege going down. And some bomber cannon sniping as well. That is some great play from Legend. Legend, if he wins this, it is because he is so good at sniping all the siege. Even though the siege has gotten some really nice shots on the camel archers, at the end of the day, the camel archers are not the most important unit in this matchup. It is really about the siege. The camels are decent into the champions, but with the extra Gambeson armor, or the extra Pierce armor, the camels are not that great in this matchup. So it is more about keeping that siege alive, and Legend has just been so good about sniping the siege. And now he's starting to push. He's still firing from within the cracked terrain. I would love to see him move up to the top of the hill and then engage from there. But I mean, he's pushing up onto this base, taking out another castle. That's an important castle to protect the pit. Camel's going to try to dive onto the bomber cannons, but there's so many camel archers here that you can't really make any progress. Does snipe one. Tries to bait the camel archers forward. Now the champ can just pull back away from the champions. The high mobility of the Berbers paying off here. Just really able to pick favorable engagements. And then send in the Hussars when it's a bit of an overextension and snipe the siege. Does lose the Trebs to the champions. So nice find from Tusky, cleaning that up a little bit. Castle in the south side to secure some wood lines. Not the worst. I would like to see the castle maybe a little bit forward. Or even on the water. But I think Tusky should think about maybe trying to contest some water. But it's just so hard. It's just so hard to fight with the Malians here. You kind of lost control of the pit. There's still plenty of gold on the map. Berbers sending the Camel Archers for some rage, which I think is the best thing they can do here. It's going to mean that the champions don't really have much to fear. But if you're in your opponent's base, it's not too big of a deal. Camel Archers are going to go for a raid. They're going to find a lot of farmers backspace. But all of Tusky's eco is kind of moved to the south side. Woodlines are going to be an issue. This castle does not protect a lot of wood. Needs to get this woodline in control. Oh no. Oh no. This is a bad fight. Okay, land some shots, and the champions are going to be able to chase down the Trebs. Just kind of a weird split of the army for Legend that Tusky almost able to capitalize on. And the Onagers do land some really nice juicy shots. Legend looks away for a moment at the wrong time. And as more Camel Archers dead, but the bomber cannons could try to snipe some of the siege. And this game is continuing to go on. This is a great set. Fantastic set. And there's the counter dock. We'll see if Legend realizes it and makes some... I would have liked to see maybe a Carrack or two just to patrol along the docks, especially when you see your opponent making these stables. Just to kind of make sure that they can't counter dock you at some point. Like in a Canny Galleon or something. Canny Galleon here would be sick. Trebs are taking out this castle. I mean, Tusky's trying to defend this. Kind of, if this castle goes down, a lot of the eco is exposed. That is a lot of farm exposed. And unfortunately, Tusky can't get his champions in siege there in time. And it's a nice find from Tusky, or from Legend. And now the Camel's going to go snipe the siege once again. Legend just finding all the siege snipes he needs. And that's going to be so hard to recover from. Tusky doesn't have access to gold. All of his gold on his side is dried up. He's mined through all of it. He doesn't have access to the oysters. He never really claimed those. The water on all the other corners is under Legend's control, and Legend still has all this gold pile. The question is wood. 10k wood. Legend has 4k in the bank. Tusky has 2k in the bank. But Tusky doesn't have access to wood. He has this last woodline that's going to run out. He has this woodline that he's taking. But it is going to be tough for him to actually win here. I think Legend's going to take it and force a Game 5 decider. And yeah, there's the GG. Tusky runs out of resources, can't ever get the engagement he needs, and keeps getting his siege sniped. And we have a Game 5. Alright, first we got to check the statistics. 300... That's 600 champions. Beautiful to see. Decent KD. The Game 5 decider. It's crazy. Tusky collecting way more resources is crazy. I'm going to check the relics in a second. Yeah. I mean, Tusky was taking a lot of gold early on, and he actually ended up almost tying. It's not as big of a difference, but the food and the wood, pretty crazy. It's mostly just the fact that the KD was so bad for Tusky. He lost so many siege onagers. So, both players, very high APMs in the 40s. All right, so one thing I want to check is at the start. How many relics? Yeah, this map was uber bugged. 2 relics. 2 relics. No relics. No relics. 1 relic in the middle. Yeah, this is totally reworthy. Not that the game's already happened, obviously, but if they notice at the start, I mean that is one of the problems with Deathmatch and requiring rees to be in the first. Like, it's a weird situation to be in because the opening is so tense. It's hard to notice things like that, right? Like, by the time you realize it, it's already in the mid game. You're not looking at, like, on Tames when the water's wrong, you can notice it pretty easily because you see it on your base. But these, you don't check at the start to see if your relics are there. And so it's a weird situation. And I don't know if it needs to be changed or anything, but, like, Tusky's kind of screwed in this situation, right? Like, theoretically. 2 players? Yeah, it's Frost. Frost twice. It still is a matter like it still is a rigged map, right? Like it is still a bad map for Tusky. Like he doesn't have his relic here. And also both relics are on Tusky's side, which is crazy. That one's not that big of a deal, but it is unfortunate for Legend. But it's just I do hope that we can look at the map script and fix this, because this is something that feels like happens more too often, right? Like I feel like it's just okay to add not yeah, I think it's just okay to make more hybrid terrain on this north, like just in these corners. Because like you're never landing units there, right? You can't build on it. It's just to make sure you have space for the relics, because otherwise you have this tiny spit and it just you can't spawn relics on there if an oyster is there or something like that, right? Like it should be fixed. So didn't really matter in this map. I think it was just a matchup win that the Berbers kind of had their best run. But we got a game 5, and it's going to be. Let me set it up first, because I don't know how long you've been watching Lucky, uh, but I am. It's going to be a time, so let me just set it up and look at the civs. All right, let me just double check something. I might have a Discord message I need to answer. Oh shit! Don't look! Don't look! Don't look! Don't look! Let me just double check my calendar and respond to my friend, because I'm terrible at responding. Yeah, I'm free on Thursday, so perfect. Where are we? Okay, so the final map for the Game 5 decider is going to be hyper random. It's going to be Game 5 hyper random. We love to see it. Oh, lordy. And we have some interesting map choices for civs. I thought the Berbers were for sure going to be played on hyper random. I'm shocked that Berbers were played on Golden Pit. I don't agree with that decision. He won, but I do not agree with it. I think the Magyars or the Teutons were better on Golden Pit, and Berbers were great for hyper random. I think Spanish are going to be played on hyper random because there's always a chance of water. And Bulgarians, if there's a drop of water, the Bulgarians are going to be really bad. So you don't want to risk that. And Spanish are also just really good on land, right? So Magyars and Teutons, I think neither of them really are good on water, right? That's why I think the Berbers were so good. Is you want to don't want to risk that. Like Magyars, you want an open map. There's been a lot of fight clubs in this tournament, so you probably don't want to play a Cav Archer Civ in a fight club map. They have no navy bonuses. They get heavy warships. Oh, everyone gets heavy warships. Regular cannon galleons. They get shipwright. They don't get incendiaries or Carvel Hull. Carvel Hull is the faster, and they do have treadmills, and they do have dry dock. So like, shipwright is the important one, right? And then Teutons. Teutons are having bad water as well, especially like no dry dock, no shipwright. That's pretty risky to have them for a hybrid map, right? If he gets a bad gen, it's gonna be real rough. But like if it is a land gen, Teutons are pretty solid, right? Yeah, never trusted no treadmill crane civ on HR. Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's Magyars would be the right pick here. Magyars for Spanish. Like you're never playing Bulgarians on hyper random. You're playing Spanish on hyper random. I think this is that's why I think the Berbers were such a bad pick for Golden Lakes. I think Magyars and Teutons are both fantastic Golden Lake civs, but they're not great on hyper random, right? Like I wouldn't like Magyars. I guess you could go for like some Paladin Rush or something. Like I don't know. I just would not trust either of those civs on hyper random when you had Berbers right there. I think Magyars and Teutons on Golden Lakes made more sense. I think Spanish were always going to be played here. It's really a question of like which civ beats Spanish the best or matches up against Spanish the best. I think Berbers were decent into Spanish, right? Like maybe not. Maybe it's something I don't fully understand, but Berbers into Spanish doesn't feel terrible, especially if there is any water. Because if there's water and you have a bad water sieve, Spanish are going to cook you. Maker's Zero can hyper random. Both these sieves lose hard if there's water versus Spanish. Yeah. So I'm going to go grab some water. I'd love to hear any last things. Lucky, if you want to throw a Gamba up since you're here, you can, earn a little bit of keep for being a mod. Feel free to. Also do have to pee, but I will save that for after the match, hopefully. I don't know if I'm doing a second cast. It's already midnight. Probably not doing a second cast. That sounds unhealthy. And I might just try to be doing like one late night cast every night for a while. Just try to pump my numbers up. And there's the prediction. Thank you, Lucky. Actually, I should check to see how are ads done. Like, I actually don't know how to track if I need an ad or not. I don't know if that's set up or anything. Late night casts are great, Lucky. The main problem with them is the majority of Deathmatch, I feel like, is asleep at this time. Deathmatch community is very heavily Euro based. And so there's a lot of people who aren't going to be around for these casts, which is fine. It also just means that like right now we have 7 viewers, which is fine. Like I'm not a high viewer person. I don't have a lot of high viewerships. The problem is that like if you're not here, if Peon and like Pasta aren't here, if I'm talking into a void, it is incredibly discouraging for me. So, but yeah, the great for you personally, yeah. And I think it is nice that there's like, especially these past few nights, I've been checking late at night, and I'm like, there's not a lot of really late night streamers for Age of Empires for our time zones. So like I was like, maybe I can try to steal some and get some late night tournament casts and maybe get some of that. Like I know there's mostly my fingers crossed are for some like random like Beeb or Lily Bear or like some of the 2K players. Like send me a raid or something and try to do this a little bit more regularly. So I might try to do some more regular late night casts. The problem is like if I want to do live casts during the day, then I probably won't do one at night. I try not to do like multiple casts during the day or in a single day, split up and stuff, you know? So, anyways, I think we are going to get underway. Actually, do we want to run an ad break right before we go into game 5 just in case? Is there a way to check to see when I need to run isn't there a way to check to see like how long until an ad is forced? I am a bad streamer, especially for being a caster. Maybe there is or not. Do you use OBS? That tells you. I do not have any tooling for OBS, so I don't have any like plugins or any updates or anything. Like it is very raw OBS and no really interesting things. So I think there's tools that you can add to it, but I guess this is for another time that I can do it. I don't use Streamlabs or anything. I just use raw OBS and the Twitch panel. So, anyways, I think that's enough yapping. We can risk it. I have pre-rolls, so it is going to be. I probably should stop doing pre-rolls, but I have pre-roll ads, so it shouldn't be too big. You have widget in Twitch's Stream Manager. I can launch an ad, but I don't know if I need to. That's always my question. But I'm going to just run into it because I think at worst it's like a 30-second ad. I don't have the 3-minute ads or anything like that. So, hyper random, game 5, deciding set. Slug a little bit more water. And get your predictions in. There's been no predictions. No one can decide. Is it going to be Tusky? Is it going to be the legend? Both players won with Slavs. Who is the true Slav king? This is the deciding factor. Game 5. Welcome to game number 5 on a crazy water map. We played a 1 hour 20 wood game. Well, welcome to game 5. We have Tusky playing the Spanish as we expected and Legend playing the Teutons on the craziest, stupidest map I've seen. We have Algirdas, 22 attack. We have the heavy demo ship going forward. Is this water, is this terrain all traversable? Is it split in two? We have all the wood over here. Like, I would not blame Tusky for calling a re here. This is a map that totally could be called for a re. The wood is so unfair. And also Spanish. This is... what a crazy map. Heroes out attacking. Agirdas sounds like a Conic. Tusky did get a villager kill. Like, this is absolutely a re, but this is such a cool layout. If the wood was, like, even, I wouldn't complain, but it's just so unfortunate for Tusky. This would... those wood lines are so bad. Yeah, it is horrendous. And the wood has so little on it. There's 79 wood per tree, for the most part. Oh gosh, this is going to be so rough. Tusky will want to risk a land generation. Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. This is Spanish's dream. Like, Candy Galleons win. Like, there's this back pond, sure. But, like, Candy Galleons can just win this. It is a gamble, one way or the other. Trying to protect the villager. Dock does go up. And the demos are floating around. Heavy demo from Legend, unfortunately, didn't catch any villagers trying to build a dock. Paladin's going to go forward and try to keep the army of Legend at home. Tusky's game plan here is simple. Keep the army of Legend at home until you get your Candy Galleons, and then win off the back of the fact that you have a broken unit here. And all the base is reachable by water, pretty much. Like, I think you can traverse, maybe not traverse over there, you can traverse there. It's weird to know how much is traversable, right? Like, I assume this is traversable, but it might not be. If it's split into two, then it might be like, it's kind of an interesting map, but heavy demos, galleons, no Candy Galleons quite yet. There are the elite Candy Galleons coming out, more and more docks going up, securing this front wood line. This is a nightmare scenario for Legend. Demo's going to try to engage onto these galleons. Gonna get some good engagements here. I think we've started seeing tech demos start being used a bit more. Now we have ETKs rolling forward. And a lot of gunpowder for Tusky. Just needs to survive the ETKs. Galleons will help out a bit. And once these Candy Galleons start rolling forward, it's going to be curtains for the Teutons. Of course, crenellations can help quite a bit against those Candy Galleons. Candy Galleons, though, have 15 range. They're so deadly. Demo's going to try to land. 2 ETKs are falling back. Demo's going to hit some Paladins and not even kill them. This is so dire. Yeah, Legend got a horrible generation here. Just so unfortunate. And yeah, Tusky knows he just does not need to force the issue. Once the Candy Galleons start showing up, then it's going to be where he starts pushing in. Keep the forces back. Like, all the land does not... You are not winning this game off of land. This land force is purely to protect your base. And now the Candy Galleons are going to wipe out the docks. Yeah, you don't even worry about the castle. You just take out the docks immediately so the demos stop showing up. Paladins can protect the demos against the demos. And this is the worst map gen a Teuton player could hope for against Spanish. Going for some side docks. This makes sense. Who needs woodlines for sure? Yeah. That is the thing. Like, it is totally a reable map by either... Like, I think, honestly, Legend could have tried to call for the re and been like, this woodline is unfair for my opponent. And I think he would have had it granted to him. I think, like, that would have been the play. You see water and you go, wait a sec. My opponent has no wood. And Legend calls it GG. Because, yeah, there's no coming back from this. I think Legend could have asked for a re, and he would have gotten it. Because he'd been like, this is an unfair generation. Because, like, the generation isn't fair for Legend, isn't fair for Tusky. It's incredibly beneficial for Legend. But, because there's water on the map, and he's playing the Spanish, you could try to save that. That was such an unfortunate generation. This is such a cursed generation, too. Like, this landmass is so weird. Like, these are the hyper random generations I would love to see, minus this woodline, right? this woodline was better balanced, this would have been a fun map, except for Spanish. So, but GG's, Tusky takes it in 5 with one of the craziest hyper random maps we've seen. And this was just a fantastic set all the way through. We had some incredibly solid matches. We had the what did we have? We had the Golden Pit the Golden Lake match was amazing. It was all about saving the siege. The Terra set was unreal. Tusky making one of the craziest comebacks I've ever seen. Let's see what else. We had the Savannah game. The Fez game was interesting. I think Legend played that not the greatest, but he won with the Slavs, so you can't complain too much there. The Savannah game was... How did the Savannah game go? I think the Savannah game was the least interesting one of them all. But what was the Savannah game? It was Savannah was Saracens Hindustanis. Yeah, so that one was it was Tusky here, and Tusky here. Was it perfectly split? Yeah. Yeah, because Dream won with the Legend won with the Berbers and lost the Saracens. I think. I already forget. I'm bad at remembering stuff. But yeah, this was a fantastic set. I'm a little bit disappointed the hyper random. Like, at least we got to enjoy a crazy cursed hyper random gen. And unfortunately, no matter how cursed it was, you were playing Spanish on a water map. So it didn't really matter in the end. I do wonder, I would love to hear if Tusky had actually seen this and thought about like calling a re before realizing he probably just saw the map and was like, there's water, I have won the game. Like loading in, he was like, I'm playing against the Teutons as a Spanish. If I see a single drop of water, the game is mine. And then he comes here and he's like, this is like all water. I win the game. And he's like, oh wait, the woodlines are trash. I do want to take a picture of this and just be like, I'm gonna bring this up in the admin chat and just be like, this is such a crazy, crazy scenario. This is such a cursed hyper random map. Which I mean I love the cursed hyper random maps. It's just a shame that it means that the game just wasn't